Surprise! It's Two Chicks, One Book Plug Tuesday.
We're dropping in early to shine a little spotlight on a book you should absolutely know about.
Today we're giving some well-deserved love to an author who deserves a spot on your shelf.
You know the drill. Fangirling, chaos, and probably a fictional crush or two.
Let's get plot twisty! Hey everyone, and welcome back to Two Chicks in a Plot Twist.
This episode is extra exciting because we're covering our book plug of the week, and today we're talking about a book that truly left a mark on both of us, Alive and Beating by Rebecca Wolf.
This story completely pulled us in. It's emotional, it's hopeful, it's heartbreaking, and somehow it manages to do all of that in a grounded, quiet way that sticks with you.
It follows 6 people from all walks of life in Jerusalem, all in need of organ transplants, and how their stories connect in unexpected and really moving ways.
And stay tuned, because at the end of this episode, we have something really special. The author, Rebecca Wolf, sent us voice notes answering a few questions we had after reading. So you'll get to hear directly from her, which we are so excited to share with you all.
All right, let's get into it. Alive and Beating by Rebecca Wolf.
Yes, and so guys, this one was published in March of this year, 2025, so it's a pretty new book. I keep seeing it all over my social media. I have so many people who I follow who, I guess, get these copies. I've seen people who have art copies of it as well who have posted about it. I've known about it before Rebecca had reached out to us, so it's really exciting to have authors who we know about and who we follow on socials who reach out to us. So this was so special.
Yeah, no, it's a real community online. If you're not on Bookstagram, guys, or even Book Talk, it's a really big and growing community.
Yeah.
So get on there. Don't miss authors like Rebecca Wolf, because they're active. You're going to see that book somewhere. And then a little bit about the book, guys. So this book is inspired by a true story. Rebecca Wolf's debut novel, Alive and Beating, follows 6 people from diverse backgrounds and neighborhoods throughout Jerusalem, all desperately in need of organ transplants on the day their lives will forever be changed. In a place where ancient divides often seem insurmountable, these 6 characters, Leah, a Hasidic young woman, Yael, a daughter of Holocaust survivors, Hoda, a Palestinian hairdresser, David, an Iraqi restaurant owner, Severin, a Catholic priest, and Yusuf and Yosef, 2 teenage boys whose fates are inextricably linked, are united despite their differences by a shared goal of becoming healthy and finding meaning in their lives. Wolf's masterful storytelling is a testament to the belief that life can be renewed, faith can transcend boundaries, and that, at our core, we all share a common humanity. All right, guys, let's go ahead and I have to mention the cover of this book. It's so simply beautiful, and it stands out to me because of that. I feel like so many covers today are just in your face. Look at me. I'm sparkling. I'm shining. I'm this. I'm that. Well, Alive and Beating, when we say Rebecca's writing is to the point, just straight out of the box, like here's everything real and this fact is here. This cover is gorgeous in its own right. It's simply beautiful, and I think that's the perfect way to describe it. And if you're watching the video, we have a clip pulled up of the book itself, Alive and Beating, Rebecca Wolf. There's this beautiful little flower in it, and this story, guys, it's worth checking out. Everyone should read it. I think reading this book will make you a better person. You have to really put yourself in others' shoes, and I think it's so important just as a human being for us to respect each other's cultures, and we aren't all living happy, perfect lives where nothing ever goes wrong. So I think it's very important that we open our minds to what others may be going through. And not only that, but the title on its own, Alive and Beating, it's just so fitting. Not only does it tie to the literal heart and transplant theme, but it's also about people's spirits, their resilience, the way life keeps going even in impossible situations.
And here's a little bit about Rebecca. So, Rebecca Wolf is a former journalist whose fiction and essays have appeared in many publications, including Apricity and Tablet. She is a volunteer writing tutor for PEN, America's prison writing program, and she lived in Jerusalem as a foreign student before attending Barnard College. She lives in New Jersey with her family. Rebecca's also a Jewish Book Council Network author. Jewish Book Council, founded in 1943, is the longest-running organization devoted exclusively to the support and celebration of Jewish literature.
And also, guys, before writing Alive and Beating, Rebecca Wolf spent many hours researching the medical realities of organ transplantation, not just the science, but the emotional landscape for donors, recipients, and families. I think that research shows the description of waiting lists, the weight of hope, the guilt or gratitude. She also immersed herself in the cultural and religious complexities of Jerusalem, walking its alleys, hearing the different faith traditions, absorbing their rhythms. That gives the novel a depth that makes it more than just a story. It makes it a map of faith, community, and identity. And on top of all that, one thing that struck me is the metaphor of organs themselves. Parts of someone else, life passing through, renewal, but even more, the way these characters are connected, some by blood, some by culture, some by fate, it all just goes back to reflecting that organs just don't carry physical life, they carry stories in this book. And hope doesn't live in isolation. Another theme we see here is faith, and it's faith in God, faith in neighbors, faith in renewal. Sometimes it's obvious, other times Rebecca shows the doubt behind the faith, and that's what makes it honest.
Okay, guys, I don't even know how to explain how much this book actually got to me. Alive and Beating truly had me tearing up multiple times.
Same. I finished it and just sat there like, yeah, whoa, like how do you even move on from that? It wasn't even just one moment either. Like there were just so many small emotional punches throughout the entire story.
And what hit me most was how different all these characters are. All these characters have different religions, different backgrounds, everyone has different lives, but somehow all their stories are so intertwined and they all come together. And it wasn't about their differences at all in the end, it was just about the hope that they all shared.
Yeah, exactly. It really just made me feel like, wow, this is what humanity is supposed to be. Just people helping each other and caring for one another, even when the world really just is constantly saying they shouldn't.
Yeah, so Rebecca did such a beautiful, wonderful job of showing that her writing isn't flashy at all. It's just real, and we love that so much about authors. It just makes you feel so much heavier in the best way. You can really tell through Rebecca's writing just how much she loved and cared for her characters.
And the fact that it's inspired by a true
I
story.
know.
Oh, yeah, it makes it even more emotional. And there's
Yeah.
something really powerful about knowing pieces of this are rooted in real life experiences.
Like, it is fiction, but it feels like it could be somebody's reality, and it probably is for a lot of people out there. At the end of reading this, it just makes you want to be a better human, honestly.
Same. So, I mean, if you're listening and you haven't read Alive and Beating yet, please
Yes.
go read it. It's so emotional and it's hopeful and it's heartbreaking and it's just 100% worth it.
So after all that, guys, it's no surprise that Alive and Beating has so many good reviews online. We'll go ahead and we'll read a couple of 5-star reviews for Alive and Beating. So this first one goes, Alive and Beating is a powerful, timely, heart-wrenching, but ultimately hopeful story of one organ's donor's impact on the lives of numerous people and their families. Alive and Beating is a fictional novel inspired by the true story of Alyssa Flateau, a young Jewish American woman killed in a terrorist attack in Israel in April of 1995. Her family donated her organs, saving multiple people and raising awareness about organ donation when Israel suffered from a donor shortage due to religious beliefs. Rebecca Wolf tells the complex story with empathy and sensitivity, reminding us that beyond religious, ethnic, and cultural differences, we all have similar struggles, hopes, and aspirations. Alive and Beating is a short novel with a big and important message. It's an outstanding debut. I cannot recommend it enough.
Wow.
Ugh.
Yeah. Oh, that's heartbreaking. And yeah, she just gives so much more insight there in that review too about what the book is about these true stories that we're speaking of. So sad. And then our next 5-star review, it says, "Do you know that feeling when you finish a book and think, wow, I just read something special that will stay with me? That is how I felt about Alive and Beating. Each chapter is a short story with a character that is inextricably tied to one in another chapter, all recipients of organs donated by a young woman who was tragically murdered. This isn't a spoiler alert. The author has such an easy writing style that makes you want to read more and more. Each detail is envisioned in your head as the characters develop. I couldn't put it down and finished it in over a weekend. It's a beautiful story with messages that run far deeper than the plotline, about being human, about our differences on the outside, and about the struggles of people walking around with that no one knows about. I truly can't believe this is her first book. I am looking forward to reading many more novels from this talented author."
So good. So
Ah.
let's go ahead and jump into the voice notes that Rebecca sent us. How did you approach writing such a diverse group of characters from different backgrounds and faiths? Was there any part of that process that was especially challenging or rewarding?
I wanted to create a diverse group of characters so that I could reinforce my book's message of shared humanity. We may look and act different on the outside, but inside we are all the same. It took me about 4 years to write this book, and part of the reason was all of the research needed to create authentic characters. I really enjoyed the research process of the book. I'm a librarian's daughter, and I love to read. These characters forced me to read books that I might otherwise never have looked at. I also read lots of so-called death memoirs to try to understand the perspective of someone with a terminal illness. I would say the most challenging character for me to write was Father Severin because he is the most different from me. I'm neither a man, nor Catholic, nor a priest, and I don't have diabetes. In a lot of ways, though, he was also the most fun character to create because I think he is such a kind soul. As a former journalist, I was looking to inform my readers as well as to entertain them. Having diverse characters allowed me to highlight the multicultural population of Jerusalem and to show the wide variety of neighborhoods.
Tell our listeners what inspired you to write Alive and Beating.
My book is inspired by a true story that happened 30 years ago in April 1995. My high school friend Elisa Flato and I were both abroad for college semesters. I was in London and she was in Jerusalem. A few days before Passover, she was on the way to a beach resort when a suicide bomber rammed his truck into her bus. She was mortally wounded with a critical brain injury, but her body remained intact, a perfect candidate to be an organ donor. Her father flew in from the U.S., and together with his family and many rabbinic authorities, they made the then groundbreaking and heroic decision to donate Elisa's organs. Elisa was the first American tourist to be killed by an act of terror in Israel, and one of the first, if not the first, Orthodox Jewish organ donor, so her death was widely publicized. I arrived in Israel in time to watch Elisa's coffin get loaded into the cargo hold of the plane that would take her back to her native New Jersey for her funeral and burial. While that scene is imprinted in my mind, it was the news conference the next day that had the biggest impact. Then Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin praising Elisa's family's heroic act and proclaiming Elisa's heart is alive and beating here in Jerusalem.
The theme of human connection really shines in this book. Was that always the heart of the story for you, or did it evolve as you wrote?
I always wanted Alive and Beating to reflect our shared humanity, because to me, that's the best way to give tribute to my friend Elisa. She was so nice and friendly to everyone, and she always tried to see the good in people. I chose a bit of a complicated format for this book because I wanted to highlight a variety of characters while also showing how they are separated by barely 1 degree. The taxi driver weaves his way through the book to reflect that close connection. Medicine was the easiest way to reflect the theme of human connection. Our bodies are all the same inside. My characters all struggle to find meaning in their lives while they battle serious illnesses.
This book had us in tears multiple times. Were there any scenes that were especially emotional or difficult for you to write?
The scene of the bombing was really hard to write because it's the part of my book that is the closest to the truth. I also had a hard time writing the story of Yael, the mother with cystic fibrosis, because she knows that no matter what happens, she won't live to see her daughter grow up. And certainly my last chapter with the yo-yos was heart-wrenching to write because I had to imagine 2 teenage boys on death's door.
What kind of impact were you hoping the story would have on readers?
It's so sad to me that in the 30 years since Elisa was killed, the hatred in the world has only gotten worse. I hope that my readers will come away believing that even if we can't always understand someone else's perspective, we can still acknowledge the other person's pain. Recognizing the humanity in each other is the first step towards building peace in the world.
As a debut author, what was the biggest thing you learned during the process of bringing Alive and Beating to life?
Being a no-name debut author is hard. I was lucky to have signed with an agent after only 3 months of querying, but ultimately she was unable to sell my book, and I had to go with a very small independent publisher. Because of that, I've had to do all the publicity and marketing on my own. I didn't realize how much time and money it would take for me to get my book out into the world. But on the flip side, I also didn't realize how rewarding it would feel to sit in on a book club and have people discuss my characters as if they were real. It's the most gratifying feeling, and I feel very lucky that Alive and Being is being read by so many people.
And then again, like I've even mentioned a little bit before, one of my favorite things about this book is the symbolism about organs themselves. It's not just about the physical transplant, it's about connection. These characters are tied together by fate, circumstance, and sacrifice. There's also that ongoing theme of faith, and it's not just in God, but faith in other people, faith in the possibility of second chances. And sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's even doubtful, but that's what makes it so honest. It really reminded me that sometimes hope is an act of defiance, choosing to keep believing when everything says you shouldn't. Books like this always make me think of real world transplant stories, the waiting lists, the families who have to make unthinkable choices, and the gratitude of those who get a second chance at life. It raises those big questions. Would you donate an organ? How would your culture or religion influence that decision? It's heavy stuff, but Rebecca approaches it with such care that it feels deeply human. If you liked 5 Feet Apart or Jodi Picoult's books, you'd probably vibe with this one. But where those focus more on medical drama or romance, Alive and Beating layers in faith and cultural identity. And that's what really makes it stand out. Here's something I'd love you all to think about. If you were in this story, waiting for a transplant, what would you cling to? What would you fear? And if someone from another culture or religion found themselves in that waiting room with you, how would your perceptions change or stay the same? Okay, guys, that was such an amazing interview with Rebecca. She's so insightful, and it's the story. It means so much to so many people, and the fact that it's out there in the world is such a huge deal. So definitely something you can relate to. If you need something to read just like this, pick it up, read it, buy it. Places you can get it from are Amazon, Barnes & Noble, RebeccaWolfAuthor.com. On her website, you can also find book club questions, so it would make an excellent book club read as well.
Right.
And then you can also find it from select indie bookstores.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps up our dive into Alive and Beating by Rebecca Wolf.
Huge thank you to Rebecca for trusting us with your story. We're so grateful you chose our platform to share Alive and Beating with new readers, and it's been such an honor getting to explore these characters you brought to life.
We also want to thank Rebecca for sending in those voice notes and letting us hear directly from the mind behind the book. It adds such a meaningful layer to today's episode.
If you haven't picked up Alive and Beating yet, now's the time. Trust us, you'll be thinking about these characters long after the final page.
Thanks for listening to Two Chicks and a Plot Twist. We'll be back Thursday with another episode.
Bye!